A brief history of creation. There are many names for the God force. This force is known by all beings on all planets by one name or another. The name, the name by which you refer to the God force is not important. In this message, we will refer to it as the God force or prime creator. The God force is not of sex or gender. It's an energy because of course it's the cosmos, the quarks, atoms, but is all. All physical beings are part of the God force. There are simply various degrees of awareness of the connection. Awareness of the connection. In the beginning there was only Prime Creator. Prime Creator, which was the quarks and the cosmos. So simple, little Prime Creator. So there's no gender, no gender, no age, but at the same time it still says Prime Creator as if it were a man. It isn't. It just isn't. Prime Creator was ever knowing, ever growing, expanding, always change. Of course, the cosmos always ever growing, always expanding, always changing, questioning who did question the aliens who are the creatures of the cosmos. They who questioning, they who became the self-made gods, thinking and being. At some point, Prime Creator began to think heavily upon one thought. Prime Creator has always existed. Of course, why not? That's the cosmos. There was no remembered beginning and no ending to the existence of Prime Creator. Of course, because it's simple the cosmos. Questioning induces growth and change, and Prime Creator began to question his existence and beginning. This led to a decision. The alien started to question his existence and beginning. This led to a decision to expand further to enhance growth and learning potential. To best do this, the alien, known as Prime Creator, decided to divide into many parties or give multiply itself, multiply, having kids. Each party would remain connected to Prime Creator. Each party would have full communication with Prime Creator. At the same time, each new party would have full freedom to grow and explore whatever path was attractive to it. This would allow Prime Creator to grow and learn at a more rapid pace, because each party would be separate yet one. The experiences and all this is one atom's break and then becomes multiple parts and create this, that, up and down, left, right, small, micro. That's simple. And then it has to create, but what? Let's see what it can be created from these atoms. The experiences and knowledge gained by each party in time come back to Prime Creator when that party had completed all it desired to learn and experience. Each party would be called our oversoul. See, then there's oversoul, oversee nice, because there is it acts just like a manager, something like that. So each group has an oversoul who oversees their own groups. Okay, as each one's a part of the God force, it would have ability and power to create as long as they kept its connection if the God falls. If the cheese come from the milk, right? But we can also make cheese from tofu, cheese from cassava, but it's not the same thing in way. You can vary, and but we can add just in about anything to make a cheese. Okay, it's the same thing with this quark. They can become anything. The atoms too. It doesn't matter how many other ingredients extra ingredients you add to it. Prime Creator began the separation of parts of himself lovingly and joyfully. There were great expectations and excitement in the variety of knowledge and experiences which could be available. New parts were formed from all areas of Prime Creator. Yeah, all areas of Prime Creator. Why? Because it's the quark, the atoms, neutron, protons, etc. As there were many variations of activity, questioning types of energy within Prime Creator. These first created were group energies or large energy portions called oversouls, which Jesus is one, many others ascended masters are one oversouls. Okay, so there were many oversouls. Krishna were one of the former even before Jesus. Each would eventually develop into a number of individual spirits or souls which were like in energy. Interesting being the parts or individual spirits which were created of energy closest to one other were of course the most alike, even within the oversoul. The oversoul groups tended to be composed of individual spirits who were similar in what they desired to learn and how they wanted to go about learning. At first, the oversouls simply were. They learned that they were capable of independent thought, of communication with Prime Creator and with each other within the oversoul and with other oversouls. They began to realize that they were capable of movement and change. They realized that they could create thought forms and experiment with them, and that was one method of learning. Yeah, and thanks to these others, these abilities were robbed from our ancestors. Prime Creator decided to create physical life and physical forms to allow new levels of experience and growth for all parts of the God Force energy. It was decided that 12 universes would be created. These would be created with intent for the oversouls, these ascended masters, to go to this to learn, grow, and gain many experiences. Each universe would have a special emphasis to create a certain type of knowledge. The oversouls would be free to go to the universe that most appealed to them, and there they could work together to create whatever physical forms appealed to them. They could learn and experience all that they wished. Each universe would exist until each oversoul or individual spirit portion of each oversoul had learned and experienced all it wished to learn in that universe. That sucks. Big sucks. Stupid idea. When all knowledge was experienced and completed by all in that universe, like here on earth, for example, this was they call reincarnation and karma. But it didn't have to exist, This is to me a violation. It would return to Prime Creator. Prime Creator would then possess all knowledge contained within that universe. That means he will absorb, he will suck from you. It's like a parasite will suck, draw, download all the information that you brought from that universe and they suck into absorb. 12 universes were created by Prime Creator at a point in time, and it is not a human, alright? At, at the point in time where you currently exist, one universe has completed and returned to Prime Creator. That could be considered the first universe, as the first created was the first completed. The universe we will now focus on is the one that you live in, which is this, not just Earth but all the other planets adjacent to it, the universe, which will be called the fourth universe. This is a free will universe. This means that all is allowed. Imagine things are allowed and it still sucks. Imagine if it were not free will. It would be miserable. Just imagine how miserable these creatures are without free will. Live in dictatorship. In a free will universe, there is no judgment, no good, no bad. All is experience. All is learning. There were no rules or restrictions placed upon Jews in that universe by Prime Creator. There would be no control or judgment of choices or decisions made by them as to areas of growth or experience desired. In this context, we can do anything we want here, just like they are doing right now, killing for fun, doing stupid thing for fun. Is it allowed? I mean it is, but do first, pay later. Buy now, pay later on credit. I don't think that we just can abuse free will. As other souls were drawn to the universes which had most interest for them, many other souls found themselves being drawn to the same areas in the same universes. They decided to work together and learn to create together. This is how many of the planets and star systems in your universe were formed. With the help of Prime Creator and his blessing, many planets were formed. And his blessing, that means a male, his blessing. If it was a it, we can go its blessing. On these planets, many different life forms were then created. As the oversouls learned to create, several things began to happen. The oversouls began to act, think, and exist more as individual energies within the group energy than as a group energy. They became individualized. Portions of these oversouls, individual spirits, began to think of themselves very highly, not as a part of Prime Creator, but as a superior to Prime Creator. Some were excessively proud of their abilities to create and allowed themselves to lose the realization that all power comes from the connection with Prime Creator. They become self-made gods, semi-gods, and demigods. This began to separate from the oversouls and become individual beings. They began to drift away from the connection with Prime Creator, and maybe those are the beings that many follows here worship and has religions. organization. Some consciously decided that they could learn more alone without the connection to the oversoul. These became individual spirits and found themselves changing as they lost the connection with Prime Creator. They no longer had the abilities to create life as they had before. They began to forget the abilities they once had and gravitated to planets they had created or helped to create. Many of them took up residency in some of the life forms which they had helped to create on these planets. As life forms were created on many different planets, many of their souls began to experiment with physical life themselves. So this big beings start to come to 3D and 4D. This required a separation of energies into separate spirit energies to allow each the opportunity to experience physical realities. In time, they came to consider themselves more the physical self than the spirit self. This was all allowed and encouraged, as all is growth and experience. Others of the oversouls stayed close to Prime Creator and continued to create beautiful planets and life forms of very high frequency. Thus, there were a great variety of planets and life forms of many types created in time. The majority of our souls at some point in their development choose to experiment and learn from physical life and all that could be learned through physical life. As many planets and galaxies in your universe were created, Prime Creator watched the creation and the development of the oversouls. It was evident that much experience and growth was occurring rapidly through physical experience. With this knowledge, it was decided to begin a special project. A group of oversouls were selected from all areas of the universe. Representatives of each of these oversouls were called to help with this project. If separation in individual spirit portions had occurred, but the connection to Prime Creator maintained, for those oversouls that had not yet separated, and were chosen to help with the project, that entire oversoul energy was called upon. From these selected energies, Prime Creator asked for the creation of a very special planet. This planet was to be of great beauty and variety. Samples of the DNA of life forms that had been created on each planet and the entire universe were to be brought to this planet to create similar life forms. These life forms would all exist on this one planet. The planet was to be called Terra, Uchiama, although later it became Earth. It was to be a happy place where oversouls spirits from this universe and other universes could visit. It was to be similar to what you know as a library, a living library. A spirit could visit the planet Watch the life forms choose one to experience and enter the physical form. The experience could be as long or as short as desired. That was before. Short or long as you desired, up to you. Later it was made up to them to decide. When the life form had been experienced, another could be chosen to experience. Just you could experience being a frog, a cat, an elephant, or a tree, and see what the reality is like for each. At any time you would be free to leave and to return at the end time. You see? At any time you would be free to leave and return at the end time. So it could be a frog, a cat, an elephant or a tree, and I see what the reality is like to each. So at any of those times you could be free to leave and to return at any time. See? But now no, it's like we are being forced to return as a human, as a cat, as a dog, as a frog, as a snake or a tree. Human forms were designed to be caretakers of the planet. They were also to be used by spirits to allow the form to be experienced briefly. A special type of ego which would be responsible for the physical function and life support. Survival. I would say survival. The ego is a tool for survival. It's a mechanism for survival here. Of the human form was created. The ego wants to be responsible for taking care of the human form and care of the planet. You see the ego. The ego, which in Greek means the myself, the me, is okay, but many people make it so bad, so negative to have an ego, to be a narcissist. They now compare narcissism with psychopathy, with two different distinct things. But humans become so stupid that they don't know, they forgot the difference. When I already knew it since the 80s, the difference. So we should be responsible for the physical function and life support I have always said that the ego sometimes saves you because it is used as a tool for your survival here in this planet, because it's not easy to be in here in the first place. Of the human form was created, the ego wants to be responsible for take care of the human form and care of the planet. When the form was not in use by a visiting spirit, when being visited by a spirit, the ego wants to continue body maintenance, yet allow the spirit to control of all else. All life forms were planned to be peacefully coexistent. But the people put a lot of bad vibes around the terms ego. There's nothing wrong in have your ego. Enjoy your ego, as long as you are not hurting other people with your ego. Okay? And you cannot hurt the other. If they choose to be hurt, it's their problem. But love yourself first, because you cannot give that which you don't have. All did not go exactly as planned. Many of the souls and visitors became very enamored, which a Latin name means in love of physical life on this planet. The wide variety of physical forms available for experience and the variety of physical terrain and environments available in different areas of the planet. They began to forget that they could live the physical forms or to choose not to live. More began to stay in the forms, especially the human forms, which were very well liked. Men began to forget the connection to the God force and began to consider themselves earthlings or titans. There were other unplanned for considerations due to the large variety of life forms and creation that had occurred on the planet. There was a large amount of freely available creation energy or universal life force. Therefore, it became a very popular place for many visitors to come to work with and develop their skills of creation. Many of the original life forms were altered and changed dramatically, not only physically, but the energies they had been originally given to allow them to peacefully coexist were also changed by experimenting visitors. Yeah, they mess with our original DNA, and this what result nowadays. When created, Terra was dimensional, number 9 dimensional, higher frequency than many planets in the universe. This was due to the original intent for the planet to remain a pure center of learning, to be shared by all. All physical forms were created to be internal, with no life cycle needed. Due to their original purpose, did not I said before that we were here like you don't have they don't have time date to die. This was the manipulators, the controllers who decided that now. That's why I'm always angry and frustrated. Okay? Because the original creation wasn't like that as the prime creator decided. But the violators, the invaders, the controllers, they come in and then they change it to all that. Now you have date to go and come back uh, as it was before. Unlike when, unlike before when we could just maybe if I wanted to stay 1 year here, I will stay, go back, then come back again if I wanted to incarnate, not but incarnate. Okay, could come back as a tree, a dog, a cat, doesn't matter, or a human. So all physical forms were created to be internal with no life cycle needed. See, that was violated by dominators due to their original purpose. As changes occurred with life forms, such as spirit attachment to the forms and their sequential lack of willingness to leave the planet, the frequency of the planet was lowered because of walk-ins. They came in, they incarnate into the grid, and they kind of mess up everything. The plan for the planet was altered according to need. This meant that a decision was made to allow this to be a planet for physical life experience and life cycle experience. The name was changed from Terra to you know why I'm laughing. The name was changed from Terra to Earth. You think that the Latin speaker say Earth? You think that the people who speak other languages call this planet Earth? In Latin, we call it terra. That's the Latin name, terra. Portuguese, Spanish, Italian. I don't know French, but in Italian called terra. Okay, it's still terra for so in terra to earth, and frequency was lowered to a 60-dimensional level over time as a result of many changes which followed. It eventually was lowered to a 30-dimensional level. We downgraded. We did not upgrade it, only because of these invaders and because of their low frequency that they become in, they kind of infiltrate in the grid, incarnate, and they bring the energy of the planet down. And then all the other good souls also was affected because of these beings. Because it was a free planet, a free democracy planet, anybody could just come in. And also it was at the center of the galaxy, so it was very good to do trade, intergalactic trade between planets. Many other changes were added at the time of the forced lowering of frequency. The addition of a life cycle and cycle of reincarnation was made to allow for greater experience. Greater experience? Greater experience? You call it greater experience? Reincarnation is greater experience? You are just justifying being a controller, an invader, and a crook. Many other changes were made at the time the force were added. The addition of a life cycle and cycle of reincarnation was made to allow for greater experience. It was felt that greater growth would occur through the reincarnation cycle already being used on other planets of the universe. It was felt that through this cycle there would be a greater likelihood of eventual reconnection to the God force, and it would also allow greater opportunities for others to partake of the experience available on earth. Sleep, the need for food intake for survival, the creation of male and female gender, reproduction through sexual intercourse, sex, childbirth, it sucks, and the death experience, it sucks to experience you are among the additions. Now, my question is, these people here, or whoever told them, whichever evil spirit told them, or is whether it is their own idea, they are telling here that the reincarnation is necessary to reconnect with the God force. Now I tell you one thing: if they had put security at the first time, not to allow invader to destroy the energy of this planet, reincarnation would not be necessary, because all the souls here, I will not say soul, but energy here, all the consciousness here um, would be blemishes free, free of blemishes, free of filth. Okay, so a connection with the God self, after they decided to exit the planet at their own will be natural, something very natural, like sleep. Do you understand? We don't need to go through filterings and a lot of cleansing in order to get back to this God self. To me, this is an excuses. It didn't have to be this way. It doesn't have, in fact, and there's something there behind all that. I don't buy this. This is a lie. The need for food intake so sexual. That sucks. This is not excuses. We didn't even have sexual intercourse before. We were not we. Yeah, we maybe I once there. My ancestral were there. We did not had sexual intercourse because we were asexual. Okay, and the propagation, like the method of procreate, were totally different. We didn't need to mate. It was different. The conception of procreate was totally different from what we have now. And then sex becomes so dirty here in this planet, so banalized, so cheap, that men pregnancies here in this planet is unwelcomed, unwanted. And if sex didn't exist in the first place, then abortion too, and the killing of children when they come out from the womb would not be necessary. Am I right? So reproduction through sex, this sucks. That also sucks. Whoever invented this is a moron. I need to tell this even after I die. Also, gonna tell them. The creation of higher selves, addition of spiritual guides. The creation of higher selves. It sucks. Addition of spiritual guides sucks again, and adding of the use of multi-dimensionality also occurred then for those who had not previously developed in these ways. No, we were more multi-dimensional. In fact, these beings have removed our multi-dimensionality. They did not add it. They removed. You are lying. Those who had previously experienced physical life on other planets had already begun to work with higher selves, spiritual guides, and multidimensionality. There were many who had not begun to experience on this level, for those these additions were made. After these changes, a large number of beings from other planets began coming to Earth to form settlements. The majority came for research and exploration of creation abilities or for learning about the developing terrains. Some came to have the opportunity to influence and affect the development of the new planet Earth. This continued for much of Earth's history. The adding of these outside energies, genetic structures and changes which these added influences brought, and the wide variety of planetary teachings and cultures which would then affect Earth and the beings who lived upon her changed much. The original plans were allowed to be altered. You see, the prime creators in this. So what if I'm going to pray for him when he's also in need together? It is already planned and orchestrated between them. And the planet was watched to see what developments would occur through allowing free will explorations of all evolved. And it free free will come a price to pay, you know, because it's not free at all. There's a price to pay in the end. For this reason that they call it karma. And every time, sometime I ponder, I go about, I just ponder, why I am here? Why do I ever exist? Not just say on earth. I'm talking about exist at all. Why do I exist? Why I have to be this way? Why what this life is all about is a rubbish. It's a nightmare, you know. For many people, it's a nightmare. I see more people miserable, especially so nowadays than happy people. There are few percentage who are happy. Happy is just an illusion. It's just a little moment in time. It's a micro moment in time. Whereas to me, misery is a micro moment in time. Because it seems that for most people, it never ends.